to the Citywealth live sessions. Today I'm delighted to welcome Juliette Peters, who is the co-founder of Peters May, which is a family law firm. She has had an illustrious career of more than 30 years, or perhaps just slightly less than 30 years, I'm not sure. You can you can update us. So over to you, Juliette. Give us a download on you and the firm for the viewers.
So, thank you, Karen. I set up my firm, Peters May, 3 years ago, 2018, with a former colleague, Jessica May. We had originally been at Howard Kennedy. Before that, both of us were at big firms. I had started off at Sears Tooth for 7 years with Raymond Tooth.
Now, some viewers may not know who he is, but he has a very big reputation, doesn't he? So this is an important mention, isn't it? Yes. Here, yeah.
He's one of the founding lawyers, the legends in the divorce world, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. So tell us, what's currently on your desk?
I've got a particularly difficult prenuptial agreement at the moment, and it's about managing the client. He's come to me probably a bit too late in terms of the wedding is not long away. Usually you like people to come to you with some months to go so that you've got time to negotiate and sign the document. It's about managing him because he has all the wealth and his bride-to-be doesn't. And for the document to have any kind of weight, it's got to be fair. So I can't leave him with everything and her nothing. It's got to be reasonable provision for her.
So advising people who are watching this, if you want to prenup, you would say probably 3 or 4 months. You need to sort of have some consideration of it, but probably really maybe 6 months.
6 months will be good.
Because you've got to have time to go back and forward and for people to accept concepts and understand sort of like the decision making of the whole thing.
Yes, and it's bringing up the concept in the first place. I think that's often a difficult conversation for people.
So how would you bring that up if you've got a partner who's looking forward to the wedding, maybe in wedding land, going crazy, and then this sort of more business-like idea is presented?
I usually say blame the accountant or blame the lawyer.
Just to kind of skip over the...
Yes.
Okay, that's good advice, great. So what's the most difficult or challenging client matter that you have currently? This one sounds fairly tricky.
I've been doing the work for 25 years now, so the work is not so much the challenge, it's more the client. It's managing them and their expectations. And they're obviously going through a very emotional time.
And are there any key messages they can learn? I mean, many times I speak to people who are getting divorced and they seem to get the wrong information initially from word of mouth. So are there key things that are just people sort of misunderstand generally?
That's right, everyone's got an opinion, haven't they? I think it's key to get legal advice really early on, even if you don't go through with the divorce. I think get the information early so you know what your rights are.
Yeah, and you're working from good information.
Don't just rely on your best friend who's got divorced. And what happened to them, because each case is different.
Yeah, I think that's very sound advice. So what lessons have you learned throughout your career?
An esteemed lawyer said to me in the early stages, well actually before we set up our own firm, said to me, make sure you go to all your child's school things and put that first. So I have done. Now that's really important because he said to me, your career will be there, but the days, if you miss all your child's sports days or parents' evening, you will regret that. And I've made sure, and particularly with our own firm, it's been easier to do.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think as well, actually, running a business, that you should structure your firm exactly how you want to live. And you can only do that at the start, really, can't you? Because if you do it later on, it's really hard to change it. So it's something that people don't understand when they're starting a business, but it's quite an important message?
I don't want to regret that later on, that I didn't spend enough time with her. And so I don't mind picking up work once she's gone to bed, but I want to be able to go to the school things.
Great. So describe a defining career moment.
Well, I think that has to be setting up our own firm.
Yeah.
Although working at Sears Tooth was more forming my career, I would say.
Yeah, probably. So we were discussing it earlier, and I said for me that the sort of lessons of how to run the engine of a business, which are nothing really to do with the law or dealing with people's prenups or divorce, was a challenge for me, you know, understanding the concepts of accounts and cash flow and bookkeepers and all this kind of thing. So how did you overcome those sorts of obstacles initially?
We made sure that we had really good people around us who were specialists in that field. I mean, we definitely, we have an accountant, we have a bookkeeper, we have somebody who does compliance. So to surround ourselves with people who were skilled in that area was the key. And we just concentrated on the legal work.
Good to hear that. And so how do you keep abreast of all the new technologies and developments these days?
I think it's a lot easier now than it ever was, particularly when I was younger, because we've got LexisNexis, we've got a really good practice management system. Go to webinars and now in-person seminars again. So we did keep abreast of that.
And what kind of technologies would you use? I mean, it could be anything from social media to helpful diaries or something.
I mean, everything's online now. When I started, it was all paper diaries, but everything's online. We've got this great practice management system called Leap. We like that very much. And we use LinkedIn.
Yeah, everyone loves LinkedIn, don't they? So what's keeping you up at night?
Nothing.
Oh, good.
I've actually always been a really good sleeper. Whatever is going on in my life, I still manage to sleep. So I think that's a good safety net, actually.
Yeah, no, for sure. So now moving on to some lifestyle questions, so a bit more fun. So your favourite restaurant for a client meeting?
George in Mayfair, where we're members.
Oh, interesting. And your favourite hobby or pastime? If you have time for one, you don't have to.
Well, my husband's just about to get a narrowboat, so I think going on the canals.
Yeah, that's a very nice pastime. And in the office, coffee or tea or something else? Both.
Tea in the morning, coffee in the morning, and tea in the afternoon.
And so we've got some words to throw out to you. So what does Mayfair mean to you?
I think I worked there for 7 years at Sears Tooth, so I felt that was my work home, which is why when we set up our own firm, we chose Mayfair.
And what's your address in Mayfair?
In Brook Street.
You're in Brook Street. I'll have to come and see you. And I think this could be a good one. Holiday?
For the last few years we've been to Cornwall, so very used to it and love it.
And you just mentioned a big trip you just took, which was very nice.
A long weekend.
And do you want to tell the viewers about that?
We went for my husband's 60th birthday and we had a weekend with friends and family at Pentilly Castle, which was wonderful.
Yeah, it looks fabulous pictures. And if viewers want to have a look at your website, we see there is another member of the team. And
Gemma the boxer, who is now one, much bigger than our photo on the web.
And so that's your last word, dog. So is there more to it than Gemma, or is Gemma the dog?
We had Frank the boxer before Gemma. Sadly, he died in September, so we managed to find his niece.
Oh, cute. Gemma. Yeah. And boxers, people who don't own dogs probably don't know, are quite lively characters, aren't they? So
they need a lot of training, if you can train them.
Yeah. So how do you train her?
With Frank, we took him to Gold Standard. Every Sunday morning I'd be there dog training. but he still, if he didn't want to do something, you couldn't make him. So.
I think that's definitely a boxer, isn't it? Well done. Well, thank you so much, Juliette. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. So just a reminder, we just met Juliette Peters, and she is the co-founder at Peters May. She can be found on our leaders list, which you can see on leaderslist.co.uk, and she's one of the top ranked family lawyers in the UK. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please, if you enjoyed this session, press thumbs up to subscribe, and we will also let you know about further sessions that are coming up.